So I've made over 100 videos on this channel now, with most of them being tutorials about WooCommerce. And there's so much I've learned along the way that I wish I knew about sooner. And that's why I'm making this video, to share with you some wisdom in hopes that you'll be able to master this e-commerce platform on your first attempt. So without further ado, here are the 5 things about WooCommerce I wish I knew sooner. Number 1, WooCommerce is free, but hosting and domains are not. If you're not quite sure which e-commerce platform is right for you, then you'll be happy to know that the WooCommerce plugin itself is free to download and use. However, in order to get the plugin, you first need to create a WordPress website. While WordPress is also free and open source, if you want to get a domain name and hosting for your site, well, that's certainly going to cost you something. Then there are also premium plugins, which I'll talk about more in a moment, and these can also increase the total cost of your site's upkeep. Thankfully though, in most cases, this is still significantly cheaper than SaaS businesses like Shopify or BigCommerce. So by paying for only what you need at the start, you can save quite a lot of money in the early stages of your business. Then as you expand and grow, presumably you'll have the budget to also expand your hosting needs and so on. Number 2, WooCommerce lacks essential features out of the box. Now, this is quite a big one, and I suppose it's quite obvious as well, but there are so many basic e-commerce features that are only available with additional plugins. Now, the reason for this is actually quite a good one. In order to keep it free and open source, the core Woo plugin is stripped back to only the most simple and necessary functions. Woo then sells plugins for added functionality, and third-party developers and companies such as Barn2 are free to develop their own plugins and sell them on the open market. Now, this is great for us because we can offer high-quality solutions to merchants and agencies who use them to improve their website. However, for the end user's sake, I think it's worth mentioning just how many features are missing from the core plugin. For starters, there's no real product filters. If you've visited any e-commerce site in the last 10 years, they probably provided filtering options for shoppers, and as they should. This is a basic feature for any decent online store, so that's why we made a plugin creatively called WooCommerce Product Filters. Quick view buttons are also not in the main plugin, although they are included in some themes. In any case, we made a plugin to fill this gap in the market. Color swashes, checkboxes, radio buttons, text input fields, and other common product variation display options are also not included. Instead, variable products display with these uninspiring drop-down menus. However, as you may have suspected, Barn2 also made a plugin called WooCommerce Product Options to address this. Now, I could go on for a long time here, so the last one I'll mention is the pop-up cart and checkout option. These are only available as pages, but with a plugin like WooCommerce Fast Cart, you can enable either a side cart or pop-up window, and you can display a floating icon for easier access to the cart and checkout. Number 3, your theme is very important. I've installed and set up sites with quite a few different WordPress themes recently, and I can tell you from experience that the WooCommerce customization options vary quite drastically from one theme to another. Take, for example, a block theme like Ollie, which I've quite enjoyed using recently. The main advantage of this approach is that WooCommerce default pages are very customizable, as they're all built with blocks. You can rearrange, add, remove, or edit most of the content on pages which are normally hard to edit, like single product pages and shop catalog pages. However, there are less options that are WooCommerce specific, and you may need plugins to extend the options available to you. Another option is to go for a popular WooFirst theme. That is a theme which prioritizes WooCommerce as the main function of the site. These are themes like Storefront, Flatsum, Woodmart, and Shoptimizer. They tend to be very fast, easy to set up, and some of them provide their own versions of page builders that you can use, like this one here in Flatsum. And in addition to that, they come loaded with customization options in the theme editor that are specific for e-commerce users. Then there are also plenty of general WordPress themes like Astra, Divi, and Hello Elementor. These themes are more ideal for websites that are trying to do more than just running a storefront. I found their features for WooCommerce to be okay, but not great, at least compared to the previous themes that I've already mentioned. Also, some of the WooCommerce specific features are only available for pro users, which is fair but a bit annoying. Number 4, WooCommerce hidden features. Now, because WooCommerce is a complex plugin, there isn't really a unified guide in a beginner-friendly place to learn about all of these different features. And that's really not surprising. It's just kind of a fact of how things are. But what that means is that people can actually be using WooCommerce for years without ever realizing how to do some basic essential functions. So here's a little list of some of my favorites of these sort of hidden features. The first one is listing related products, which I think is underutilized on WooCommerce in general. Basically, if you go to your product data section and click on linked products, you can add products into the upsells and cross-sell section. They'll then appear as cross-sells like this cap here on your main product pages. Then there's also bulk editing options. For example, if I want to edit a whole bunch of products at once, I can select them all, click on edit and apply, and any of these different options here, like categories, price, sale price, tax status, and so on and so forth, can be updated using these bulk features. This is really handy if you want to publish a bunch of products at once or switch them to draft mode, change their price, etc. Then did you know that the shipping feature also has some complex formula options? Create some calculations based on quantity or weight or anything else. I have an entire video about that, which I'll link in the cards up here. If you go to the marketing tab, then you can find the coupons option. And this will allow you to add new coupons and edit the ones that you already have. If you want more complex discount options, then you could try out our WooCommerce Discount Manager plugin from Barn2. But this is the sort of free way of doing it. If you just want to give out a coupon code, people can use it on your site. If you're on a page in the backend like the products screen, you can click on screen options and you can enable or disable any of these items, which will then be added or removed from the table. For example, this featured option allows you to see which products are featured currently. And if you click on the star, you can add a new product to the featured list. The last little thing is if you click on this sorting button here, then you can actually drag and drop the list order of your products. This can be useful in some cases where you want to change the order in which products appear on certain pages, where it uses the default list order instead of some other ordering system. And number 5 is to know your customers. Depending on what you're selling, your customers may want or need a different kind of interface for purchasing. Luxury items benefit from having less clutter and a more methodical checkout process, whereas wholesale buyers need a quick ordering system that they can use to buy large quantities of products in an efficient way. The key here is to know your market, and you can find this stuff out by literally asking your customers and doing other kinds of research, especially competitor research. If you don't have regular customers, you'll need to find this information by A/B testing and learning from others in your niche. My point is that the default shopping experience may not actually be the best for your store in particular. So keep an open ear and an open mind to understand what it is that your customers really need. By the way, if you want to set up this quick order form that you see here, you can do so with our product table plugin, which I've linked right here. And for more WooCommerce tips to help you get started, check out this video next. And of course, thanks for watching.